What if you could ship your own Google Translate app without writing a single line of code? It sounds impossible, right? Well, watch me prove it to you today. In this video, we're going to recreate the Translate experience using Base44 for building our app, then the ElevenLabs API for doing speech to text and text to speech, and also the OpenAI API to translate our text into the desired language. And keep in mind, you don't need any coding experience whatsoever. By the end of this video, you'll have a working clone that you can share with your friends with a complete clean UI. Are you ready to build something real? Let's dive in. Okay guys, so before we start creating our app in Base44, I just want to show you guys what it will look like in the backend conceptually, just to give you guys a better idea of what is happening in the backend, how are we actually achieving this. And the first thing you can see is that there's going to be an audio input from the user that will be captured from our app. And then what will happen is we'll call the ElevenLabs API, which has a speech to text endpoint. So that speech from the user is going to get converted into text, and then the ElevenLabs will give us that text into our app. And then what we'll do with that text here is we're going to use OpenAI to translate that text into the language that we've selected. So for example, if a user has selected the Italian language to translate the text into, then we're just going to inject that language keyword Italian into our prompt. So OpenAI knows which language it needs to translate to. And once we get the returned text in Italian from OpenAI, what we can do is, our last step is to then use the ElevenLabs endpoint text to speech, which is essentially going to get that text that has been translated and then output it as audio, and we're going to get that audio file back, and then it gets played to the user. Now for the actual prompt, or initial prompts that we feed into Base44, I like to use Perplexity for my first initial prompt. And what we want to do is we can just take a screenshot of Google Translate just to give us a better idea of what we want to achieve. And then we can just use that screenshot and then drop it here. And then what we're going to say is, please give me a prompt to use for Base44 to create a clone of Google Translate, and we'll just let it do its thing. Okay guys, so Perplexity has just given us our prompt, our initial prompt, and we're just going to feed that into Base44. So we'll just go into Base44 here and then paste that prompt in and then just click enter, and then we'll just leave it to do its thing. Okay guys, so whilst Base44 is generating the app, we can just use that time to get our API keys for both ElevenLabs and also for OpenAI. So if you don't have an ElevenLabs account, just go ahead and create one. Once you're in the homepage, go down here to developers and just click on here, API keys, and click on create key. So for the name of the key, we can just do Base44 Google Translate clone. For this API key, make sure you go down here to text to speech and you click on access, and also speech to text. You just want to make sure you click on access also here, and that's going to give us access to those two endpoints that we're going to use. So just go ahead and create key, copy to clipboard. I will be deleting this API key later. And obviously guys, these are API keys, so they're secrets. Make sure that you do not expose them anywhere. For the OpenAI API keys, just make sure you go here on the platform.openai.com. Make sure you have an account and log in. Okay, so now that we're in the OpenAI platform, go ahead and click create new secret key here. And again, we'll just name it with a unique name so we know specifically what we're using that API key for. Google Translate clone, and we can just do all permissions and then create secret key. And just make sure you copy that and you save it somewhere for later because we'll be using it. Okay guys, so it looks like it's created the first version of our app, and to be honest, I'm quite happy with this. Now we're going to go ahead and add the speech to text ElevenLabs endpoint implementation. So the next step would be to ensure that we have the speech to text endpoint working with ElevenLabs, which will allow us to record our own voice and then feed that audio into ElevenLabs, and then the API will give us the text of that audio back. Okay guys, now to add your API keys into your app, just click on the dashboard here, then scroll down all the way to secrets. Now, if this isn't not displaying, you need to be under builder plan, which is $50 a month. Once you upgrade to the builders plan, just make sure you activate the backend functions here. which will allow you to store your API keys in secrets here. So in here, just click on add secret. And then for the secret name, we'll use ElevenLabs, just exactly like this. And then copy and paste the secret that we got before into here in this field, the secret value. Then just click on add secret. Whilst we're at it, we might as well just add in the OpenAI API key also. So use this exact field name, and then copy and paste the secret that we got previously from the OpenAI platform and paste it in here, and then click on add secret. So we've now added both our secrets into our app, so they're ready to be used. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to verify that when I click the record button here and it's going to record my audio, that it's actually calling the ElevenLabs speech to text API. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to return the text and display it on this screen as just like a temporary way of verifying that it's actually returning the text that I'm inputting through my audio. And then we can remove that text later on. Okay guys, so I've just used this prompt here. So I'm basically asking it to display a piece of text at the very bottom of the page, and that will display the text that I've input through audio recording. Okay guys, so it looks like I encountered an issue here. So what we'll have to do is go back into ElevenLabs and select the specific API key that we were using, and then in user, next to user, just click on read here, and then click on save changes. Okay, so let's go ahead and test the feature here. And we'll just click on the recording icon. Today, I'm creating a Google Translate app in base 44. Oh, so it seemed to have worked. Now, the next step is to then grab this text here, and what we want to do is the language that we select here on the right, we're going to use that and put it in an OpenAI prompt with this text, and we're going to tell OpenAI that essentially we want to translate that text into the language that we inject into the prompt, and then it's going to return us that text which is translated into the specified language. Okay guys, so now I've just added this prompt here, and essentially what I'm saying is we're going to add a translate button here. So whenever clicked the translate button, if there's text in this section here on the left, we're going to grab that text and translate it into the selected language here on the right using the OpenAI API, and then we're going to display that translated text in the section on the right. Okay guys, so it looks like it's added our translate button here, and we're just going to go ahead and test it with text instead of audio. We can do that too later. However, we'll just keep it simple for now when we're testing the app. And let's just go ahead and select the Spanish language, and we'll translate the words Merry Christmas, which I'm pretty sure is Feliz Navidad. So let's just go ahead and type that in, and then we'll select these. Oh, and it's actually the second language, which is great. And we'll click on translate here. So now it's calling the OpenAI API and injecting it into a prompt, and there we go, Feliz Navidad. That's awesome. So let's just go ahead and also test the audio recording feature and see if that works. Merry Christmas, and we're gonna have to click on translate here also, and yeah, Feliz Navidad. That's great. So the next thing we want to do is we want to call the second ElevenLabs API endpoint, which is the text to speech. And that way, essentially the text that's output here in the right section, let's say if you're on a mobile app and you're in another country, or you're trying to speak to someone in another language, you know, it's just easier. Instead of having them to read it, you can just input your audio on your phone, and then it will just output audio almost instantly, and it's just more convenient. So let's just go ahead and implement that last feature right now. Okay, so the prompt I've added is, I'm basically just saying we're going to call that API endpoint the text to speech, and then with the text that's in here, once we click on the speaker icon, it's going to output that text as audio. So we'll just go ahead and enter this prompt. Okay guys, so let's now test the text to speech within ElevenLabs, and we'll go ahead and let's just say good morning here. We'll translate it into Italian. I'm sure everybody knows what it is in Italian, so we'll go ahead and click on the speaker icon and see if that works.
Buongiorno.
It seems to be working. Awesome. Okay guys, so now we're going to deploy our application live so that other users can use it. And we'll just go ahead first of all and publish it here. Now this isn't going to publish it with an actual domain name, but I just want to test it in this live environment here. Okay guys, so we've just published the app and for some reason it's asking me to authenticate. And if you want to remove this, you can just go back into your dashboard here, and then where it says require login to access, you can just disable that, and then we'll republish the app again. And here we go. So let's just go ahead and test it again. And what we can do is we can translate into Spanish, and we'll just do let's go and click on translate, and let's test it out.
Vamos.
Perfect, it seems to be working. Awesome. Okay guys, so the next feature I want to test is the audio capture feature, which is this icon right here. So just go ahead and click that. Let's go. And we'll see what that does. I'll click on translate. Vamos. I think that's correct.
Vamos.
Yep. Now if you want to connect a custom domain, all you have to do is go into your dashboard and click on domains here, and then you can either connect an existing domain, or you can just click on buy domain to purchase a new domain. Now for the purpose of this demo, I'm not going to purchase a new domain. However, if you do want to purchase one, you can just search one here, Google Translate clone, and then click on search. And it's then going to redirect us to the Ionos website, and it will give us all these different options for the name that we just put in right now. And then all you have to do is you just click on add to basket and purchase that domain. Then it's going to automatically connect that domain to your app. And also we can see that in the ElevenLabs platform, it shows us here a number of API calls that we've used. So we've used a total of 18, and also the total number of credits that we spent, 81, which is not a lot for a simple app like this. Hey guys, thanks very much for watching the video. If you did enjoy it, make sure to subscribe and like the video. And if you do have any more video requests, please comment them down below. I'll see you next time.